This is Second Technician Fuzzer Forrester, and you are listening to the Lave Radio Music Medley. This next track is for all you folks slaving away for Universal Cartographics. For the explorers out there, this is Two Quiet Sons and their fantastic track, Meteor Passing, taken from their album Kelp Emission and available to buy now on iTunes.
Get ready. Lave Radio.
Buzzer! 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 Do the thing! Do the thing!
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Geronimo! Ben, do you have anything to say about low sex? Nor, as everyone else likes to call it, the penis rocket.
Why not?
We can all give you a warm hand in your entrance.
Yeah, that butt clenching really was awesome.
Would be absolutely terrified of anything.
Sunday, I had a good time making a 10-year-old boy cry. Have you finished playing with your bunny?
Remember, this is the show where good ideas come to die. Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 380 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Tafaya, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, otherwise known as Colin Ford, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our Head of Health and Safety, Commander Edelweiss, otherwise known as Ben Moss Woodward.
Yeah, please put your head between your ears. Put your head between your ears, hold on to your ears, and cross your fingers.
Okay. Useful contortionist advice, I suppose.
You must be really crap at Twister, Ben.
And is it 78 Americans die every year playing Twister? I'm sure it's something silly like that.
How?
I don't know.
I'm interested in this now.
Extreme Twister. They have like spikes on the board.
Like
I can see that as well.
But it's in like the fighting thing from Flash Gordon.
Exactly. Yes. Death
Yeah.
Twister.
Or is it just because they are hit by a Twister? It's one of the two. I can't remember which. Anyway,
They both sound fun.
We have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psychic.
Hello.
Hello. We have our Inhuman Resources Director, Commander Shan.
Hello.
And making some weird grunting noises, we also have our Director of Pest Control, Dr. Toxic.
Wait, I'm doing what now?
You're the Director of Pest Control,
No,
apparently.
this thing about grunting noises. This is new to me.
Oh, well, I'm not going to say anything more about your diction. I will move on.
My
If you wish,
diction, excuse you.
if you wish, you can join us live. We are hanging out in game somewhere, Ben, aren't we?
Oh, when I get back from prison, I'll be in Lave.
Oh, okay, so he's going to prison. You been a naughty boy, Ben?
Oh, the locals in DSO took exception to me shooting up their scientists. So, yeah, it's the same old story. I go off and I'm busy trying to scam somebody, trying to get authentication to get in there. I was like, I've got a bounty. I'm going to shoot you now. And I didn't want to shoot you. I just wanted your ID. But no, they have to take exception to it, and then they get the buddies in, and then obviously I've got to kill their friends. But
As
then
you do.
their friends have friends, and well, these things escalate.
And this is why you're a murder hobo.
Escalators.
No,
Never
I
trust them
tried.
because they're always up to something. Anyway, moving on. If you can't get to us in game, or you can join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or go straight to twitch.tv/laveradio, or go to Lave Radio on YouTube, or Lave Radio on Facebook, because we're there and we're streaming and we're live. So,
We may be live on Twitter too, actually.
is that a new one?
Since when did Twitter do streaming?
I don't know, but they're doing
About a year and a half ago.
Yeah, they are doing streaming.
The last time I played with Twitter, your limit was 160 characters.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
we are indeed live on Twitter too.
Oh heck! Not careful how much you say, because they will cut it off after so many words.
So it's just spinning at the moment, so it may not be doing anything. I don't know.
Well, after last week's extravaganza, where we had everybody on who we could get on, I think we'll just have a quick run round and see how everybody's been doing for the last week. So we'll start with Ben.
What have been up to last week?
Mm.
You know what? I genuinely can't remember. I think the most exciting thing I remember is not being able to get a milkshake from McDonald's yesterday.
No milkshake from McDonald's?
Yeah, I know. It's disgusting.
That's not exciting. That's regular.
Oh.
I've not 9 times out of 10 you go down McDonald's and the ice cream machine's not working, milkshake machine's not working.
What else have I been up to? I think it's just been the kind of the usual, really. I have been doing a fair amount in Red Dead and Minecraft, just all the usual stuff, really. Been a very uneventful week for me as an individual.
Yes, I guess that's an understatement for everybody else. So, Psychit?
What have I been up to this week? I'm drinking too much gin.
Okay, understandable.
Drinking too much gin, recovering from too much gin, and sticking stars on my face and running a quiz. It's been quite a fun weekend.
Yeah. Would you like to explain to people why you were drinking gin and sticking stars on your face?
Well, okay, the two things are entirely separate, just for clarity. But we obviously had there was the elite meet on Friday, which was very full of liquid. It was a good time. And then on Sunday, I did my part for Game Blast, which is a special effect fundraiser. And like they raise so much money in general, but we raised £600 and I'm super chuffed for that. And we did a really nice quiz and it was fun and I stuck loads of stars on my face. And yeah, I'm just like I need like a weekend to get over my weekend. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I'm glad it worked out. Okay, we're gonna move on to Shan. How are we doing?
Someone's at our front door, so give me a second just to see things first. Yeah, it's been a kind of a mixed week, really. Lots of stuff going on domestically. Nothing between Mrs. Sharon and the family, but all like an extended family. So it looks to be better news than we thought it was during the weekend, which is good. The Delta variant cat has settled in. I'm just going to go and put a picture in the recording studio so you can see the size difference. But yeah, it looks as though peace is broken out with them now. They spent the afternoon on the top bed of the cat tree, snuggled up together, which is all really cute.
Right. Just to clarify this in my head, because I think I've missed a cat here. You had Project, was it Beta?
Test Subject Gamma was Hobbs, and he had to earn his name, you see.
Right.
Through a series of tests and trials.
Okay, so we've got Hobbs.
Yes.
So you've now got another one who's a Beta.
Delta variant. Because
is Delta going to be called Calvin?
If they passes the tests, possibly.
Ah,
But they have to earn their name in this house.
gotcha.
Game-wise, I have not logged into Elite at all because the expansion, the new expansion to Guild Wars 2 came out yesterday, and I have been playing that almost non-stop. And yes, you can drink, but I just want to comment. If you want to know how an expansion should be launched, look at how ArenaNet did it. There was no game-breaking bugs. Poor performance was not affected. Lots of new gameplay, a whole new map basically to play, different combat mechanics, etc. And it's really good. Really enjoying it. So yeah, it's so I'm playing Guild Wars 2 at the moment because there's a new expansion that's been 2 years in the making, plus all the additional content they released for free in those 2 years. So it's a cumulation of about 8 years worth of story.
Right. So busy time with the Guild Wars then.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's think. Oh, Doctor Toxic. What have you been up to since last week?
Working mostly. I've got this thing called a job now. I'm a receptionist at a chiropractic clinic. Other than that, I've been scared absolutely toffee free of this issue that's going on. Russia think they're big and muscly and are being laughed at by the rest of the world, if I'm honest with you. As much as I joke about that, yes, it's still a horrifying event and it's very worrying. And I actually have people over in Estonia that I'm worried sick about. So that's been affecting me quite badly, mentally, health-wise.
Well, as of 2 hours ago, my friend in Kiev, which I think I mentioned, the teacher in Kiev was okay. They describe it as hard, but they're still alive, which is a good thing. So yeah, prayers and stuff are with everyone there.
Just to clarify, you said they passed.
No, they've not passed. They're still alive.
Oh, good. I mean, the amount of lives that have been lost has been atrocious, if I'm honest with you. And
well, it's on. To be honest, Toxic, it's on all sides. I followed the UN meeting where the Ukrainian ambassador sent out the phone messages from a killed Russian soldier, and having sons that are in the military, it really affected me.
I can imagine.
Because this.
Oh yeah, because one of your lads is doing service, isn't he?
Yeah, he's okay. I mean, they've been told to stress that they're not going into combat. They're there purely, well, not anywhere really, but basically whole areas have been said. If anything happens, you're not going there to fight. You're just there to help the refugee crisis. And so basically, the what people have been told is very much in line with what we've been told as well. That no boots on the ground in Ukraine.
Well, we will take this opportunity here to take a break and pop over because Commander Yannick, he's in the middle of a 12-hour stream, which is raising money for the British Red Cross Ukrainian Crisis Appeal. Now you can find that at Twitch TV/Commander_Yannick, and there's a donation button there. Or you could directly donate at donate.redcross.org.uk. Obviously, we will be hopefully catching up or jumping over onto him at some point later in the stream. Yes, Ben.
Oh, so Yannick's actually just letting us know he's having problems with Discord at the moment. Last I saw him, he was mostly going up one of the biggest mountains in Horizons, whose name I forget, but he was busy hill climbing in Horizons, and yeah, hopefully Yannick will be able to come off and say hi and do things soon. What we will be doing though is, at the very least, after our show, we'll be going off and we'll be raiding Yannick, and it'd be awesome if everyone could give him some support and obviously chip in and throw a few quid towards his donation for the Red Cross as well, because obviously, the Red Cross, Red Crescent, all of that stuff is amazing organization, and there's a lot of people who
I'm
literally
relying
left.
on them.
Well, they left with the clothes on their back.
Yes, that's completely true. That it's a situation which is yeah.
I think bleak is an understatement, and that's
Well-
unusual for that to be an understatement.
You can use a bit of black humor here or dark humor here and suggest max out your credit card, make the biggest party you can, because next week you might not get the chance to pay it back.
Next week you'll be too radiated to pay it back. Yeah,
Right.
it's
well,
either that or the Russians are going to be hacking the banks. That's something I've been talking to colleagues about. Is the cyber terrorism force that's possibly going to be coming next.
Oh, even better, they'll wipe out your credit with it, won't they? Anyway, I suggest we keep we keep on the show, as there's enough doom and gloom and everything going on outside, and this is a silly show about a silly computer game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So we're going to draw a line under real world stuff at the moment and move on. Well, actually, I haven't said what I've done this week.
What are you able to go on?
Well, I did something I never thought I was going to be able to do. I beat XCOM 2.
Holy shit!
Yes. And it's that good, I'm going to have to do War of the Chosen now. So,
War of the Chosen is amazing.
Colin
you
actually
love
finished
it.
the game.
It's so good.
yeah. I finished the previous XCOM, and I even finished the original XCOM. So yeah, because I'm old enough.
Fluent in the age there, Jesus
It
Christ.
took me 5 years on the Amiga to finish one game.
Did the floppy disk last that long? Because I didn't think they lasted more than about 4 years.
I don't know. Ask Frontier.
This one did. Hey, I still got some Amiga discs upstairs that do work. So hey, anyway. Oh, hang on. They did work 5 years ago, but that was after 15 years. So, right, I am waffling. So I think we'll head over and have a look at what the development news has been occurring this week. And well, it's been yet another quiet week until we got this strange update from Bruce, which was, "Greetings, Commanders. This is a brief post to let you know that the release of Update 11 has been moved to the 8th of March. This will allow the development team more time to properly prepare the content as the fleet carrier interiors and other fixes. The new release date is subject to change. However, if it does, we will let you know in advance. 07. Except they never told us a release date in the first place.
Now, according to my chat on Monday, because I said the exact same thing. When did they tell us there was going to be a release date? Apparently they told us on a live stream at some point. A couple of people were adamant. Now I don't know if that is the Mandela effect, because I can't remember that being said at all. But apparently they were like, 1st of March. There's going to be a thing come out on the 1st of March.
Oh right, well that's the first I have ever heard of it, to be honest. So
Yeah. So
to be fair, it's not that much of a delay from when they said, though, is it? It's not as though they've delayed it 6 months or something like that. I mean, I'm sure we can forgive them a couple of weeks.
well, I was expecting something to come out at the end of March, so I'm pleasantly surprised.
yeah. Both Elvis Kremen and I'm going to say it wrong. Take a drink, Katiana.
Katiana close.
I'll get there eventually. Both say that they remember that happening on the live stream. You've got better memories than me. Either that or I dropped out for that one moment.
It's an age thing, Colin, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember it, and I'm relatively certain that Katie and I are exactly the same age.
So yes, update 11 will include the legendary fleet carrier interiors, and of course everyone's going to try and jump their carrier first. But as usual, we'll give the usual warning that don't take the 8th off, take the 9th off, because you'd just be waiting around for the blooming blue bar to go across the screen.
I've just checked, and the 8th of March is not the Ides of March. So I think the staff at Frontier are perfectly safe.
Oh, right, okay, yes. Interestingly enough, Frontier aren't talking about this at all, really, apart from that one statement or a couple of small posts. And yeah, I think that's it. We have a public service announcement from Commander Ventura. Back up your bindings, as our own Commander Fozza is at the moment trying to restart his Elite Dangerous career and having a little bit of a problem with the bindings. Honestly, Shan, that looks as if the your cat is going to smack the other one.
Yeah, it's only in friendship.
Only in friendship.
Are they
I
the
think-
same breed?
No, the same make.
They're the same.
Make.
They're the same brand. Are they both?
Same brand of cat.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, no, it looks like he's caught him mid-slap, doesn't it?
I've
But
heard that.
crucially, the claws aren't out, you see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
fair
the big
enough.
telltale.
Fair enough. Same make, different model. Yes. Or yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, no, it's just a paint scheme, really.
Foxhole cat.
so okay, next week obviously we'll bring all this
That's terrible.
information. Well, actually we can't, because it will be the 8th on Tuesday, won't it? Is it?
Can I just interject very quickly here, Colin?
Mhm.
I've just seen the file name of this, and it's called Evil Hobbs. Would you care to explain this, Shan?
Why are you saving Shan's pictures? That's creepy.
It's on Discord. So the question is, what other caption would you put on that picture?
Shan Hobbs gives Kitten a high five. And the reason why I'm doing that is so I can go off and put it up on stream if that's okay with Shan. Oh,
Yeah.
Pinnick-
Go and
Pinnick-
put a link on.
Pinnick's done it. That's okay. That saves me doing it.
That's
It looks like, and this is just a random scene that's played out in my head. I can imagine that cat that's given the slap is dressed up as Darth Vader, and the one that's about to get slapped is a stormtrooper. Please tell me they're from the same damn show. I get in trouble a lot with that.
Yes,
I
they
never
are.
watched them. I never watched them, so I get in trouble a lot.
So, now I'm thinking about the
Apparently, the Star Trek community get very upset.
Oh.
I'm uncultured and I'm proud of it. Shut up.
Right. Well, moving on from cats and stuff. David Braben's actually been a little bit busier on Twitter than he usually has for the last couple of days. Yeah, Apoc V says that looks like the Batman slapping Robin meme.
yeah, I could see that actually.
Yeah.
It says that.
Pinnick, oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is a paid-for article from the Financial Times that, as people quite in a tizzy, because basically Sir Ian Livingstone, who, for those of you of my age, he's one of the people that helped me learn to read, because he did the Final Fantasy game books, which, with that and Lone Wolf, actually encouraged young boys to read. Well, so Ian Livingstone and David Braben have hit out at the loss of the UK-based companies to foreign buyers. And on top of that, there was some discussion about the fact that about FDev's potential takeover, to which he sort of said there isn't really much point, as he has and his wife had 33% of the company. And yeah, it doesn't sound like he's got any interest in selling up. So I mean, potentially it's possible. It is possible for a buyout, but it'd be quite difficult to do.
Can I offer an alternative viewpoint on that, Colin?
Okay, Jan.
Well,
That's
if you look at what was said in the Financial Times article, Mr. Braden said, if you look at what happened to the share price, it wouldn't make sense to do anything now.
Mhm.
Braden said the possibility of a sale, adding that the 33% stake he and his wife had in the company would act as a natural barrier to any takeover attempt. The key word for me is it wouldn't make any sense to do anything now. That isn't ruling it out. All it's saying is, you ain't buying out my 33% of the value of the company now. That's not saying a not ever. It doesn't say
You
even
can do
if
it
you offer
later
me,
when I'm done with it.
it's not saying I'm not. You need to up your money if you want to buy me out, kind of thing. Because I don't think anyone would turn down, I don't know, £1 billion.
Well, to be fair, Braben to Frontier Developments has always been. He's not doing it for the money, is he? He's never done it for the money. He's doing it for the what can I make? He's doing it for the what stories can I give?
Also, Shan, you have to remember the entire point of the article was selling companies to foreign investors is fucking stupid. Keep it in house and don't be an idiot.
Keep it local. Yeah.
Yeah.
And treat buying games companies like shopping
I
for
would,
food.
I
Keep it
would
local.
I would like to think people are as principled as that, but I'm sure if you offer them enough money, they can find reasons for. Well, actually,
Yeah,
I've
you'd
been in the.
I'm not
I've
saying
been
You'd
in
this
the
also have
game.
the people are
you.
smarter than that as well, but unfortunately,
Yeah, I mean, I will agree that everybody has a price.
So that made me look as why wouldn't make sense to do anything now? Why didn't you say why would it say, well, the share price doesn't matter because I'm not selling? Why the wouldn't make sense to do anything now?
because that wouldn't look good in an article.
Yeah, but the entire point of the article, the whole reason why he and Ian Livingston got together to do this was to basically, I don't want to say moan, but moan about UK companies getting gobbled up by foreign investors. And they're trying to encourage the government to invest more and do more to promote British games industry.
The only thing I'm going to say is Maplin's Electronics. Now, a lot of people probably won't understand what I mean by Maplin Electronics. Maplin's Electronics, yeah, you probably know because you're a technical guy. But for those that don't know, Maplin's Electronics is like Toys R Us for the adults, for the people that know how to do the Sparky rubbish.
They went bust, didn't they?
They went, yeah, exactly that. Maplin's went bust because Maplin's was brought out by the owner of Toys R Us because he was having a financial crisis. Oh, I'm losing money on this store. What should I do? Buy another successful store. Issue there is we are now out of Toys R Us and Maplin's. Now, I don't give a rat's about Toys R Us, right? I'm an adult. I don't know. Toys, kids. You have your toys, kids. Whatever. What I miss is I need this connector. I know. I'll walk down Maplin's with my connector in my hand and I'll walk up to the guy on the desk and be like, I want one of these. Literally, you tell me like that. I want one of these. And I say, look at it. And I say, all right, sir, no problem. And I take you to the shelf that's got it on.
And charge you
Brilliant.
£50 for it when you can buy it for 2p on eBay.
The one on eBay, you don't know the size of it, you don't know the brand of it. Who cares? It's
Send it
not
back.
good.
Or on Amazon. Oh, I'm saying
Send it back. You're funny. Send it back on a £2 item.
Well, they just say
It
keep
costs
it
more
then,
in
don't they?
postage, Chief.
Yeah, but they just say they just say,
Yeah,
oh,
then I've got this connector that I don't want to throw away because I just brought it, but I got no use for it. No. Sod that. Take it down, Maplin. One time buy. You've got the right connector in your hand.
But you must have had qualified Maplin employees because
yeah. Oh my god. The guys down
the
Maplin's
Maplin guys I dealt with didn't know their IDs from their starter, so.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. The local, there are quite a few shops. Curry's is the one around here. You know Curry's PC World.
Yeah, of course.
the people in there, the staff in there, don't know their feces from a pate.
And I'm back. So I don't know
That
what
is a brilliant time for you to come back.
and I don't know what tangent you guys have gone off, but anytime you mention curries for your technical needs is always a bad sign.
I wouldn't be able to catch you up, Colin. I'd tuned out maybe about 10, 15 minutes
one
ago.
word, Colin. One word, Colin. Jobbies. Okay.
And if we're
Right.
talking curries, I want to just raise richer sounds.
That's wrong, Ben. That's
Right.
wrong.
Okay. Well, moving away from that, have you guys covered the
No,
Raspberry Pi?
we deliberately stayed where we were, Colin.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
Well, you didn't stay where you were. You went off somewhere off into the.
Well, okay, went into the
we went on a mild little tangent about how it's bad for companies to buy up other companies because we're missing out on our Maplins because Toys R Us brought it out. The owner of Toys R Us brought it out.
Right. Well,
Yeah, that mild, small tangent for
yeah,
Lave
mild,
Radio.
small
For
tangent.
Lave Radio, that was a small
Well,
tangent.
today is is it today or yesterday? David Braben actually tweeted about the fact that it's now been 10 years since the Raspberry Pi, and I have actually got my Raspberry Pi right in front of me.
I've got 3 of them.
Yeah, right in front of me, and it's one of the originals. And on top of that, I don't think it's been plugged in for the last 6 years.
Oh, you still got
Oh.
your original as well? Get well, it probably won't mean much to you guys, but I've got a PoE switch in my in one of my rooms, and I've got PoE splitters to power all of my Pis, so I don't need power supplies. I just plug network in and it goes.
Yeah.
I only have 2 Raspberry Pis. I have a Raspberry Pi 4, which stores all my dashcam footage, and I have a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is connected in the Tesla, so that as the dashcam downloads stuff, it archives it onto the Raspberry Pi, which is then backed off onto the Raspberry Pi. So it's quite a cool little device, actually.
Yeah,
I've got a home server for storing the footage. Like I don't understand why people use Pis as storage.
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll just
Just a
point out.
cheat.
I'll just ask. I mean, do you think the Raspberry Pi has actually achieved what it set out to do, which was replace the people's introduction to programming and things?
Actually,
I think
yes.
so. Yes, yes.
Go on, Sharon, you first, and then I'll try.
Because when I was buying them, I think I went to a Raspberry Pi online store, and I was gobsmacked at the amount of stuff you can stick in them to make them, motion cameras, wildlife camera, anything. Yeah, they're just weather prediction. They're really versatile, and all of it's free, and all of it's open source. So definitely, and I think, I'm a big fan of Raspberry Pi for that. So yeah, definitely been a success.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
quickly, Dr. Toxic.
I think a lot of people, I think 99% of people have missed one of the biggest tricks for a Raspberry Pi. You've all missed it, and it's all to do with Britain.
Okay.
The Raspberry Pi is a RISC processor. Okay? It runs.
Right.
The BBC Micro was a RISC processor. Yeah?
The Archimedes was, but not the BBC.
The BBC was the predecessor to it, yes. I'm aware. It used a Motorola chip, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but it wasn't RISC, it was the Archimedes, but that's beside the point.
Close enough. The BBC Micro, if you upgraded the master far enough, would actually run RISC OS. So did the Raspberry Pi. So why did everybody not jump on the whole British bandwagon, which it was a small one, it's still there. You could go RISC OS open and download it. The original operating system for the Raspberry Pi, screw Linux off. I mean, everyone is like, oh, Linux, Raspberry Pi, Linux, brilliant. You sit there with your 5-minute boot time while I plug my Raspberry Pi in with RISC OS, and by the time the screen's turned on, it's ready. And it runs BBC Basic, and if you want it to, if you try hard enough, it will run Elite.
For me, the biggest boost for risk processors is the fact that pretty much nearly every mobile device in the world runs a risk processor.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And this is kind of why I'm annoyed with Apple. We're putting RISC processors in their laptops and their iMacs because it's a desktop machine, and they're also cooking the process. They run at 90 degrees, which is a little bit warm, if I'm honest with you. Regardless.
Right.
But yeah, RISC OS, you could program in BASIC on it. So, yeah, you could really take it back to the roots.
Yes, well, I'm not going to go anywhere near load double quote. Anyway, God's truth. Then, if you got that, you're old and decrepit now.
Excuse you.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Elite Dangerous. One of the things that they did mention this week is the fact that it's still risky to apply experimental effects to the enhanced frame shift drives that were delivered to the commanders for the Colonia Bridge Project Phase 3. So, yeah, that's been a reported issue. I think
Risky how?
I'm not sure. I think it just breaks things. Ben?
Oh, yeah, it has the potential to go off and say, hey, you know that double-engineered module you've got? Well, you ain't got it now! But there have also been reports of some people who have successfully done a dance involving get a component, sell a component, store a component, upgrade the component, and maybe if you wiggle it in the right direction, you might have your double-engineered module with the experimental effects.
Might I
as well.
suggest that's nearly outlining an exploit, Ben?
Yeah, I wouldn't quite say exploit because it is meant to work, but they don't know. Frontier don't know why it's not working, but it is meant to work, and it does apparently work for some people under certain circumstances. Personally, I ain't gonna risk it, but that's on you, I guess.
Yeah, well, they put the warning out there that at the moment it's a bit of a dodgy one, so be careful. Right, so that's the end of the development news. So, like I said, we'll probably have more for you all next week when update 11 drops. Right, in-game events. Well, it's actually been quite light this week. There's only been 3. On the 24th of February, we've had both the Brewer Corp augments the starport services. There was a bit of controversy because the one in the bubble completed okay, but the one in Colonia did not. And I think that was actually due to shortages of things in Colonia itself. Am I wrong about that?
What's this? Sorry.
Oh, Psychic's woken up.
Well, I mean, you were boring for a minute there. So what are you talking about?
Wow.
The Brewer Corp, the CG, it managed to complete in the bubble end, but it didn't finish in Colonia. And I didn't know whether or not it was because materials ran out in the Colonia and people couldn't actually physically get them anywhere out there to put them.
I would imagine that it's probably a mix of not finding them and apathy. Whereas before they were quite happy. People were quite happy to shunt them up from the bubble, like shunt all the extra items up from the bubble. They've done it like 3 weeks now. I think it's kind of like a little bit apathetic towards what's going on.
Yes.
A 4-week project is a long project for anyone to remain invested.
Yes, it is. It is quite. Oh no, it is getting a bit long in the tooth, in my opinion. Have we still got another 2 weeks to run?
Good question. We're currently on week 3.
Mm. All right, so there'll be 1 week left then.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, on the 24th of February, the Battle of Summerland concluded with the Empire completely winning. There were no two ways about it, and they now claim that the NMLA threat is now no more. Okay, I know what you're going to say, Shan, so get it out your system.
What am I going to say?
You wanted to be on the other side just to cause chaos.
Well, there is that, but I was actually going to ask a more general question: is did the players have any say in the outcome of that battle?
Yeah, they could not have taken part.
They couldn't have fought for the NMLA then.
They couldn't have fought for the NMLA, but they could not have. The alternative was, well, you either fight for the Empire or you don't.
But that's a completely silly argument because what you're doing is you're trying to prove a negative, aren't you? You're saying, well, this many people did this much, or this much was handed in to this much, so therefore they deserve to win.
You're
But I
sort
would
of not,
suspect
Shan,
that-
because otherwise your point of Colonia not even reaching tier 1 wouldn't have happened. If people didn't play, it wouldn't have reached tier 1, therefore it would not have
Yeah,
succeeded.
but how many people didn't chose not to do the CG? That's the point I'm trying to make. You can't say it was like a vote.
I think a lot more people chose not to do the CG than did the CG, because there's a lot more people not playing the CGs than did playing the CGs. So
therefore, Summerland should have won then, really, because more people
not really.
didn't do it than they did.
But the people took part, but if enough people took part in order to
To
win,
make it right, they should have had a resistance CG running at the same time, because then those who are really invested in the CG either way would have got a chance to contribute.
Well, I would agree with you if there was a chance that effectively you had to choose one side or the other. It was a either or, but they don't do that. It's just basically you can choose both, which I think's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Shan as well. I mean, they could have tried raising sanctions, but
More, according to Inara, more people took part in the combat than took part in the Colonia Bridge Project phase for week 2. Just with the look of contributors. I don't know if that's might have weigh anything up for you or change your mind about anything, but I'm just looking at figures of what according to people, and those are just the people who are reporting that they're taking part.
It might explain why the Colonia one failed, because everybody else was too busy elsewhere.
I mean, this does go back to what we talked about the other week, wasn't it? Where we wanted players to have an active choice or influence the decisions that we're taking, and then Frontier being courageous enough to go along with the outcome, regardless of the outcome, if you see what I mean. I mean, it was like the first CG was the war on Lou, wasn't it? And that did actually have a repercussion, but it seems as though it's like you can choose anything you want as long as it's a story we want to tell. Which
this is like the first time that there's been like a combat CG in my memory, in recent memory, where you've only been able to fight for one side, and I think it's probably due to the fact that the NMLA were absolutely battered the last time. That there was barely any resistance on the side of the NMLA. So what was the point? Do you see what I mean?
That's absolutely true. On the last couple of times the combat happened with the NMLA, they didn't even reach tier 1.
And what were the rewards from each side? I'm just curious. We can go on about this again and again and again, really. So I suggest we move on. But
as far as the rewards were concerned on that, Shan, it didn't matter. There were better rewards for the NMLA in one of them, and they still got battered. Those enzyme bombs that they've been using against the stations, you could get missiles with that in. Those were offered, and they're fantastic missiles, but nobody wanted them because they wanted to batter the NMLA. So yeah, we're going to move on from that one. On the 25th of February, Prime Minister Mahon was reprimanded over the Rialt conflict. This was when the Sirius Corporation moved one of their mega ships into Rialt, and Rialt didn't want them there, and a big scuffle happened, and they had to run away. So yeah, he's been reprimanded by the Parliament, and he's accepted the reprimand, whatever that means. Yeah.
He's a very naughty boy.
Yes,
His wrist is a little bit more slapped.
That's right. We're not going to sing your national anthem.
Exactly.
What's the point? Anyway, it's the Olympic Committee of Mahan. Right. In other news, Operation Ida, they are actually running to fix Fort Zion on HIP 62154. They are pretty close to actually finishing it, with only emergency power cells and natural fabrics outstanding. I think that was done just yesterday. So if you wish to quickly contribute and fix up a station, then you're quite welcome. And that's all the news that we've got this week. Like I said, it was a light week. I wonder why. And yeah, so I guess it's that time of the week again.
What time?
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Each one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Each one will you buy? A store alert, a store alert.
Did anybody see a tumbleweed go by? I'm sure I saw a tumbleweed. For those of you out,
It looked
for,
really
the-
funny.
for those of you who probably realise there hasn't been anything in the store. Not that we could make out. I mean, did anything jump out at anybody, or was it just me going nothing today?
Wasn't there something in the secret special person's store?
What you mean?
Sorry.
There was something but I think we'll come across that later. Yes, so there's absolutely no newsletter this week, or no store alert. So yeah, I hope this does not continue, because that is a bit of a worrying one for me. So
Nah, save your arcs. It's fine. Just keep saving those arcs up. You'll be good.
They're saving them up for carrier interiors, which is will then cost a bazillion arcs each.
just because you want a painting on the wall.
I need
Yeah,
to earn more arcs.
Yeah, a bazillion arcs just gets you a plant pot on the bar.
A bazillion arcs gets you one NFT.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh dear! Don't get me started. Don't get me started. We would send poor Psychic into a coma.
I would literally die. I'd be sat here and you'd be like, Psychic hasn't spoke for like 3 weeks. Yeah, it's because she's dead in her desk.
Only nearly. We're not trying hard enough.
Right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with you with our main discussion of the week.
Want to tour the frontier? Travel with Colmac Reeve and our new fleet of passenger starliners. We've opened up the universe for a range of budgets. Option 1, luxury.
My husband and I like to travel in comfort. The new luxury cabins were like a home away from home. After all, one's home is a castle.
Option 2, first class.
We'd saved up a bit for a really special trip. The first-class cabins were like nothing we've travelled in before. Really luxurious.
Option 3, travel cabin.
We won a trip with Cormac Reeves' monthly lotto. A travel cabin for two on a Starliner around the solar system. Once in a lifetime for us. Simply amazing.
Option 4, basic accommodation.
Me and my mates just wanted to hitch around the universe. It's so great that we have the option of getting a really cheap cabin to see the sights. It saved us loads.
And for the budget conscious and slaves, we have our cheapest option yet.
Well, I needed a...
And we won't sell any of those frozen passengers into slavery, I promise. Colmac Reeves all budget tours, seeing the galaxy from luxury to freezing tubes.
You've flown ships at max speed. You've felt the power of the 30 megawatt mining laser.
Ooh.
You've experienced the efficiency of the MB4 mining machine.
Wow.
But it leaves every hardcore miner with just one question.
Why can't I get a shave that's that fast, close and efficient?
Introducing the Saracen MB5 shaving drone.
It's so smooth.
Combining the power of a mining laser with the convenience of a drone.
It's like every hair is targeted by a fighter and destroyed.
Saracen's patented shaving drone attaches to your face at the start of the day. Leave it to do its work, and when you come back to check, your face is shaved.
He's so smooth.
It's like I'm mining my face.
The Saracen MB5 shaving drone.
Now I feel manly.
Saracen Shaving, making shaving an unnecessary adventure.
Space can be lonely, but sometimes that's just what you want. Choose your holiday, the gas giants of Alioth, partying the night away in Yorkville on Aquada, or even go back and find your ancestors on Earth. The Rockforth Corporation makes your holiday special and will let nothing disturb you.
And welcome back. Now, obviously, we're quite myself, and Shan and Psykid are all a bit chuffed with ourselves, although admittedly, I think I'm still nursing a bit of a hangover, because what happened last Friday is that we all turned up to the first elite community meet for quite a while. This was, of course, in a charity do for special effects. So all the money raised by the tickets and the raffle and all that kind of stuff, all that went to charity. Yes, there was quite a lot of us who trekked all the way down to Cambridge, and we ended up meeting with the CMs. So there was Arth, there was Bruce, and there was Zach. And did anybody actually catch the name of the girl that was there? Because for the life of me, I can't remember who she was.
I feel really bad because no, I'm so sorry.
I believe her name was Diana.
Very well. Says the guy who actually wasn't there.
I don't know. I'd had so much to drink.
Yes. And we have to say we had basically free food, free bar. That's a very bad mistake, Frontier.
I'm actually surprised at how long the free bar lasted, particularly since there were quite a lot of Hun truckers there.
Yeah,
No. They were still there at 3 a.m.
Yeah, but was the bar still free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Off. When Off left, he said, "Right, I'm going. There's still money behind the bar," and he gave it to Ranty. And I think I'm not 100% certain on that, but I know that the Hutton truckers got back at 3 a.m., which is madness and not. God, I thought I was too old for that shit, but they definitely are.
So if Frontier posts another loss this quarter, it's because of the bar bill.
The bar bill from the Hutton truckers. Yeah, I think that says a lot.
I'm pretty sure they have a budget for that.
I don't know why any of you are surprised at how much the Hutton truckers drink. We've had lockdown for a while. They've had time to practice.
No, the point was toxic. Is that he announces a certain amount of money behind the bar, and knowing how much the Hutton truckers drink.
How much did he put behind there to begin with? Like, what was the grand total?
It's not for me to say, but it was.
How? I don't care specifics. How many digits were in it? If the Hutton truckers were there, it should got to be at least 4.
It did. Let's put it this way: the bar was at least prepared for us.
Well, they weren't.
Well, yeah, you do have to call ahead when those guys are coming.
Well, they weren't, because the taps upstairs didn't work, and if you wanted a drink, unless it was actually in the refrigerator at the upper bar, they had to run downstairs and get it.
Yeah, but they were still served up, which was good enough. So there was an awful lot of drinking involved. There was plenty of food, which was
food was nice, actually.
Deep fried enough to keep a Glaswegian happy.
I really enjoyed the food, because when they said there's going to be a buffet, you kind of expect the sausage on sticks and the pineapple and the odd sandwich you can eat. But actually, it was pretty nice. They had little sort of mini burgers, which were okay. Chips, which were okay, they're still about warm. And my favourite thing they had there was like mozzarella balls with a jalapeno pepper slice on top, and they were really nice. I've forgotten how many of those I ate, but they were top stuff. Oh, they had fish sticks as well, didn't they?
Do you like fish sticks?
No, I didn't have any, but I noticed they were there. But no, so I was actually quite impressed with the food there. Actually, as I say, I expected, the limp sandwiches and the sausage on sticks and the all things like that. But no, it's actually pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time that we've met in person, Arf and Bruce and Zach all together, to which I think I have to say I was a little shocked, because I got people the wrong way round.
How?
How?
It's
because,
Colin.
Because toxic shush.
Arf is the giant with a beard.
Yes.
Zach's this little guy with a beard.
Yes.
Arf is Gandalf, and the other two are hobbits. Okay, that's what you just need to remember.
Well, no,
Bruce is this little guy without a beard who'll stab you in the back.
This is the thing, because I thought Bruce was actually taller than Arf.
No.
Yeah, well, it surprised everybody, because there was an awful lot of them. Went, Bruce, you're shorter than we thought. There was a lot of us who said that. Poor guy who was there going, "Oh, I've
Bruce
heard that
also has hair. Arf doesn't.
However, he is taller than Ned Lewis. So for people who are trying to gauge it on a scale, Arf is sort of Adam Woods' size.
Price.
And
Arf's big as well as tall.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, not again. No.
We've had this conversation, Ben.
We have, I know.
We've had enough of Ben's fantasies.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
Okay, what I mean, Adam Woods is lanky, whereas Arf looks quite chunky.
That's getting kind of personal now, Ben.
Zach is about Ed's size.
Right.
And of course, Bruce is in between. But we thought Bruce, I don't know, maybe it's because he just looks down with such disdain on the stream that you think, oh, he must be tall.
So going back to the old days, then, would you say the one in the middle is sort of like Zach Antonacci size?
So, what, Bruce? Yeah, yes, he's about that tall. Since all of a sudden all we've got to talk about is yes, thinner. So basically, all you're talking, I can't believe you're talking about the height of the CMs.
Oh, they've not given us any other content to talk about, have they?
It's interesting that you're comparing the heights of the CMs when the rest of us use like feet and inches.
Arf is 2.5 head Lewis.
He's 2.5 heads.
Oh, that's horrible to think about.
The thing is, though, if you start asking the CMs in proper measurements, then they'll start wanting to know their inside leg and things like that. So,
Really? Ooh. This is
You
taking a
can play
bizarre
with your
turn.
inside leg if you'd like, but the rest of us don't care. We just want general height.
Yeah,
this is
this
how many
has been-
hands at the shoulder.
Good God.
It's not a horse.
I don't. He was
I'm
hoarse by the
not-
end of it.
I'm stepping away.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Buruntish.
And Katiana said all of them were taller than the sidekick.
Wait. Zach might not be. Zach might not be. Zach might be around my height. I don't know for certain.
Do we need to have a height off at LaveCon?
Can I rescue this conversation for a minute, please?
No.
No. What I will say, because it was amazing to be there with, in quotes, real people at that sort of event after 3+ years. Because it was also the first time I've actually been in a shopping centre for 2 years, and it was just amazing to get a feeling of reality and normality back. You know, the fact that it wasn't a huge room, but it was a reasonable sized room with about 50+ people, would you say, were there, Colin?
Yeah, there's about there. I just
Well, Zach said that there were 80 when he spoke to me, when we spoke.
I was trying to go by the raffle ticket because every raffle
I wouldn't. The
No.
raffle was a cluster.
Well, there seemed to be about half the number of raffle tickets drawn weren't actually anyone there. But anyway, there was quite a good crowd there, and it was just so nice to meet up with people I hadn't seen for years, people I've never met, people I wanted to meet. And yeah, it was just so nice. And sorry for the people who couldn't make it. Hopefully, you'll get your chance at LaveCon. But it was just a great chance to almost get back to normal, because I'm certainly not sure about you guys, Colin, and side, but it was great to have people sort of walking close to you without thinking you're going to kill them and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, what we should have done for the CMs next time in LaveCon, someone bring a banana, just for the scale.
On the topic of restrictions and stuff, today we've finally taken down the plastic screen at work, so there is no plastic screen between myself as a receptionist and a customer, patients anymore.
They didn't actually. They didn't have a plastic screen at the bar either, did they? I remember.
No idea. I never went to the bar. I just sent other people.
Good girl.
Good girl,
like it.
So anyway, we
I am a
have
disabled human being, Colin. Let me have this. Let me have the benefits.
So we've talked about the food and the drink and the atmosphere. What was your other highlights of? Because there was a few events and games, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, let's just talk about the raffle, because I must admit it went so badly wrong, and Arf was losing it so well that I must admit I was my sides were hurting from laughing so much, because it went wrong in such the best way.
For me, it was really nice to see Arf, Bruce, and Zach's dynamic in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
just seeing the dynamic between all of them, because there is a really nice camaraderie between around that team.
Yeah, and of course everyone sent a special get well soon message to Sally, who was still poorly. So that was nice, and of course there was a pub quiz, but that really just turned out to be people shouting out answers.
Hold on, Colin, just wind it back a bit. What was so funny for you in the raffle? Because remember, we were there, and our dear listeners weren't. So just what was so funny about it?
What was funny was the fact that Arth did, I think, the best John Cleese impression that I've heard. Because basically he just lost it and went full Basil Fawlty at some point, and it was great.
I always thought about the probability of a winning ticket was being drawn, the probability of actually someone with the actual ticket. It sort of felt as though they'd sold and given X number of tickets out, but they'd
Yeah,
for the
and
raffle they'd put the whole
anything
book of tickets in the bottle.
yeah, anything over 120, and nobody had it. So it was constantly redrawing. And yes, I will say, Steph, if you're listening, you are still the best raffle ticket compare in existence as compared to what we had to put up with before.
I don't know, after turning around and asking Bruce how many more t-shirts they had to give away or something, and Bruce went, I don't know, 6. And that made my night.
Well, because they ended up, didn't they, dividing the room
Yeah,
into
just
t-shirt
throwing
sizes.
t-shirts and stuff at people.
Yeah, I've got one of those t-shirts, and you got a goodie bag with some headsets that don't work, and a water bottle, which does.
You've got the earbuds, haven't you? The Odyssey earbuds.
Yeah, the Odyssey earbuds, but they don't work.
Have you charged them properly? Because mine work.
Yeah, I've charged them properly. They've got the little green light coming up, and you open it, and it's supposed to go bleep, and
it doesn't bleep. It doesn't make a bleep noise. No, it's just you just open it and there'll be a light flashing on it somewhere. I'm looking. We can troubleshoot this later at some point.
Yeah, but all I can say is that I'm disappointed because they're really nice Razer earbuds.
They're really nice. They're really nice.
The fact that they're not working is I'm gutted.
Maybe the clue's in the name Odyssey earbuds.
Oh, we just had to wait for the sarcastic put down, didn't we?
Well, mine. The difference is with that, Shan, is like I got mine with my big package when like the PR package, and mine worked from the off, so it can't be anything to do with it being Odyssey.
I'm not sure if Commander XLA was there or not, but they said their earbuds don't work either. So whether it's they actually won the earbuds at the raffle or whether it's a general comment, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait. I'm going to. Well, they're charged. It's just not lighting up. So
ask for your money back.
Ask for a refund. Yeah. Oh, you're so funny. You should be on the television. Right. Right. So yeah, we've covered, I think, all the fun activities that happened there. However, for those of you who were looking for juicy tidbits, this was one thing that they were quite strict on. There weren't any. It was just a complete charity night. I did notice quite a few people basically surrounding and haranguing the CMs over certain things, but I was too busy setting up the miniatures game, which nobody played. But the miniatures look pretty.
You did have some interest in the miniatures game then, Colin.
Oh yeah, I did. It's just that I think by the time we got it set up, everybody had knocked back that much beer. I don't think anybody could be bothered.
I mean, to be fair, Colin, I think what it also was, and not just the beer thing, is that people were so pleased to see other people sitting down at a table and playing game would mean they wouldn't get around to see other people they wanted to say hello to.
Which is quite true. But, we had everything all set up. And, yeah, we'll have to see about if it can appear at LaveCon or not. I'm not quite so sure. So, yes, yeah, as I was saying, there wasn't any juicy information. It was very much the line of, yes, we'd like to tell you stuff, but we cannot because we haven't been given the go-ahead. I think we're allowed to say that.
I would say so because we're not saying anything. I mean, I must admit I was a little tiny bit disappointed with like when I got there, seeing the people sort of like surrounding off, and I think one guy had like a full list of questions that he was expecting to get answered, and I was kind of like, it's a little cringe. It's a little cringy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I did feel that. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I was keeping away, because I knew that if I did actually talk to Arf, or any of the CMs in great detail, I would have asked, and it would have been, I would come across as that guy, and I didn't want to.
Yeah, don't be that guy, Colin. Don't be that guy.
I didn't want to be that guy.
It wasn't really that sort of environment to really quiz the CMs. And I must admit, I did have a chat with Arf in general about a few things. And when you read statements that say, "Look, we're trying really hard to get the answers for X, Y, and Z," I'm talking to him. I personally believe them. I know they're trying really hard to get anything to us, but the impression underlined, the impression I got was that they are not being given anything as yet to tell us. So for some reason, the decision has been made higher up that they will only release stuff when they're told to release stuff. And as a CM, I completely respect them for that because it's what their job is. They are, if you like, the liaison between us, the players, customers, and senior management. And if I suspect it's incredibly frustrating for them to try their best to try and get the answers. To be said, well, actually, you can't say anything about this at the moment. Yeah. So that was my impression. So I complete respect for the CMs and their patience with dealing with stuff that we just don't see.
Yeah, I mean, I did get the impression when I did talk to both Bruce and Zach about the miniatures game. You did obviously the conversation topic did turn around to say, "Look, I'm not going to ask you anything because obviously you can't say anything," and they just went, "Yeah, we just can't. We really do want to, but we can't." And then that was all was said.
Would you describe the Ben term as their cock blocked?
I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I think it's more of a case of it's difficult. I feel like there's half of it is, oh, we can't go out because we've got nothing to say. But I think some of it is like maybe a little bit of we won't go out because we've got nothing to say, if that makes sense. What's the point in us sitting here rebuffing the same questions, rebutting the same questions over and over again and seeing console release,
Yeah,
which is essentially what we're waiting for.
That is definitely a part of it, side, and that is something Arf confirmed. They want to be able to give an answer, but they can only repeat the information what they've been told. So I completely agree with you. They would love to be able to share stuff, and they're just as I say, Ben terms. I think the cock blocked further up because and I picked up on the frustration about that actually. So which is why I'm not going to lay anything about lack of communication at the TM's feet because from that conversation we had, I'm absolutely convinced they're doing everything they reasonably can, other than doing something that would lose them their job to try and get to try and portray what they're being told. It's just they're not being told anything.
Yeah, I mean, there was at least a couple of developers there. I did spot Dav. Dav was walking about, being worshipped by the Dav worshippers. I don't think he was left alone, the poor guy.
Cult of Dav. Did I see Dominic there as well? The mission.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Dom was there. Yeah, Dom was there.
Yeah, Dom was actually there saying that one thing that he finds actually really frustrating is the fact that he knows that there's good stuff coming, except he can't tell anybody about it, just like the CMs, because he wants to keep their job, but he's finding it so difficult to keep stum. So,
I mean, I got a few nudge, wink, winks from people, but I can't say what they were because it would get them in trouble. But there's some stuff that actually made me feel a little bit more encouraged. So if it helps, if it's something that makes me feel encouraged, then I think it should be taken as good news.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's. I mean, I must admit, the last couple of weeks I've been finding it difficult because obviously with the lack of communication and the fact that we had no indication that update 11 was actually coming. That I was getting a little bit despondent about what the future of the game was going to be. After this particular event, I feel a little bit uplifted about the future, if you see what I mean, because I don't think, I think there's going to be more stuff coming. It's just obviously they haven't been able to talk about it yet.
What I am mystified is why the hesitancy of telling them stuff. Because I mean, one of the conversations I did actually have with Arv, and I said, "Look, if we're all grown ups here, I just around the room. We're all adults. We're all grown up. We're all fans of the game. If you've got bad news, or if you've got something, just tell us why it's bad news." And most of us will say, "Yeah, okay, I can see that. Fair dues," and move on.
I
and but the thing is, you can never please anyone. You always get the vocal minority who, oh, you didn't promise me my golden unicorn skin on my panther clip or anything like that. You'll always get people like that, but you can't kowtow to the people who's always going to be salty about stuff. You have to treat people as adults and professionals from there. And I just worry that there's a fundamental disconnect there. And that worries me more than the lack of confidence about development.
Well, I'm wondering whether or not it's after the results and that Frontier have had, and obviously the crashing share price. One more bit of bad news could be enough to send things further down the share price further down. So they might be holding off any communication while that tries to stabilize. But
maybe, but it's going to take a hit anyway.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're waiting for better news to come along with the Warhammer game, which I must admit I looked at and thought I was tempted, but then I promised myself never to pre-order again.
But anyway, in terms of it really felt like a mini LaveCon, partially. I mean, it wasn't.
It did.
It didn't have the informality of being able to say, "Oh, hi, let's buy you a drink and sit down and have a chat at the table," and it wasn't that informal. But then again, I don't know whether we'll ever get back to that level of informal again, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, well, it has been 2 years, so we do, and it's a brand new CM teams that people don't really know as well as when Zach and Ed and Will and Stephen were all about.
Did Will ever get to a LaveCon?
Yeah,
No,
Will's at LaveCon in 20...
He ran it.
Oh, of course, yes, he did. Yes, that's right. Yes,
and there was the ECM as well, which was Sally and Will and Paige.
Yeah, we were in the before they left. It was the case of Will and Paige would come up to us and just like, Ben, great to see you, and give you a great big hug. Now, I don't know if we'll get there again because it's been a long time and we don't really. But we'd had such a close interaction with all these guys for so long.
Yeah.
And as Colin says, it's brand new people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brand new
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, think about what you're saying, Ben. I mean, yes, it was different CM team, but then, as you quite rightly say, Will was at LaveCon, and it almost didn't feel any difference between when Will was there and whatever. I'm just worried that the disconnect between what the senior people are not saying and what the CMs want, that the CMs get told just attend the event, just don't say anything, don't be a good boy, don't talk to anyone. Yeah, except basically that they are chaperoned and they're going to the event with both hands tied behind their back to almost like socially distance from the public at LaveCon. And we'll see when it comes this year, but that's my concern, is that because of what's happened in the past and because of what seems to be the culture there, we'll never get back to that kind of matey, jokey, casual thing again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that highlights that. Oh, Psychic, do you want to come in first?
I just think I think you're looking at the older CMs with like these rose tinted glasses. Like they were so much more friendly with the community, and they could tell us everything that we wanted to know. Yeah, well, yes, times have changed. Arf, Bruce, and Zach all joined during the pandemic, so we haven't had that chance to get to know them like face to face and all of those kind of things. I absolutely love After Pieces. I've got a huge amount of time for him. I think he's a cracking bloke, and I gave him a big hug when I left. And he gave me a bit, like, when he came up to me and was like, "Oh, hello." We had a big hug like when I saw him, and when I saw him initially. So I mean, I genuinely do feel like they do will have that connection that you're remembering from past times.
Yeah, I will have to interject there because I will say that the atmosphere that was there that evening, I think it was up there with some of the sillier things that the CMs got up to at LaveCon before. So I think it's just. I mean, I know that we also go on about the I remember when it was so much better when when we were younger.
We had to go uphill both ways to get to see a CM team, and they all bought us drinks and they loved us. Oh, they loved us. I mean,
we need the Hovis theme playing in the background.
Do 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 do. Look, get over it.
I will say that I felt that the atmosphere after the drink had certainly hit the system a bit, was certainly just up there with the old ECMs and LaveCon. So personally, I think that's a little bit of a.
I think it's hugely unfair.
Yeah, I think the one thing that is of concern is the fact that in the older days, there was a sneak peek. There was something that was released only to people at LaveCon. Of course, next day it was all over the place, so they kind of knew that it was going to get leaked. But I think the one thing that I think Shan's problem is the fact that kind of sneak peek thing will not happen ever again.
No. Well, that's not really what I was getting at, and. I mean, let's be because Ed will never listen to this, and neither will Zach, so it's fine. Ed was a great entertainer. He was a brilliant entertainer, but to try and get him to do anything he had promised to do, it was like trying to herd cats. So quite often you'd have to go to Zach to get something done that Ed had said, "Oh, I'll get this done." It was like a constant badgering because Ed Lewis's skill was in the entertainment part, not necessarily at the CM part. And so, yes, I'm aware there may be a rose-tinted view because of the entertainment part was always fun. But what I'm trying to get at is, and again, I'm open to I hope they come to LaveCon, and I hope I have a great time with them, and we sit down at tables outside and have a chat and just chill and whatever. And I'm sure that will happen. It's just I have a concern that they're always somehow on their guard, and I want them to be natural with us, not having to be on their guard, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, we'll take that because we haven't really given a chance to see where it goes, and Ben is going absolutely crazy. So, Ben,
I think Shan actually just highlighted the key thing there. I remember. I want our relationship with Arf and the current CM team to be as good as it was with Ed at ECM, where he called us all a bunch of fuckers. And he knew he could say that, and he knew we would take it in the spirit it was intended, and he felt comfortable enough with us to just rip the shit out of us. And I want that.
Well, to tell you the truth, from what I've seen from Arf, I think he can quite easily match Ed for that kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah, like I said, it was my sides was sore from laughing because basically it was full on. It was full on Basil Fault. He gone full on Basil Faulty, and it was absolutely hilarious. And
Literally, I think like the first like announcement thing, or like once everybody had got there and everyone had sort of like mingled a little bit, he said something along the lines of there's money behind the bar, the drinks are free, so he said let's just have a fucking good time. So he definitely swore in the first thing that he said to that extent, and I was like, okay, I'm home, this is fine.
Yeah, and on top of that, we have to say that microphones in that place were useless.
I think he bought his own. He must have bought his own little tiny PA system. I swear that's all it was.
He didn't need one. I mean, whatever microphone, it was like one of those karaoke kits that you buy a kid of 10 years old with a grot speaker.
I think had he not been shouting into the microphone, it might have been slightly different.
He overloaded
his own PA kit.
I do want to add something else that occurred during my chat with Arf.
Mm-hmm.
It's that 21 came over and gave me a stress ball and said, "Hi, Shan." And I asked him, I said, "Oh, mighty 21, can I have absolution for never visiting Hudson Orbital?" And there in front of Arf as my witness, I got absolved by the Hutton Truckers for never going to Hutton Orbital.
See, I think you should have been made to go and do it, frankly.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that you'd have been let off by that.
No,
I was definitely.
Nah.
I need to have a word with Vintian here because that's just letting the side down. In fact, actually, you're the only person in Lave Radio who hasn't. It's just.
I don't care. I don't care. I went to the Hutton God, and he absolved me of my sin of not going
you didn't go to the Hutton God because Alvin wasn't there.
Alvin's the Hutton God.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
You know, if you approached anybody, you would know that.
Yes, but he wasn't there. But his prophet was there.
No,
I don't.
Mike's not as well as Alvin's prophets.
No,
Mac has never been part in
you're wrong.
either. So, Mac, I absolve thee in the name of 21. There you go. Mac doesn't have to go now either. Hey, it's good this. Look.
That's not how it works.
Isn't it? Well, it is now. Who said? Where is it written in the Hutton Testaments?
You know what? We will pass this over to Vintian and the rest of the Hutton Truckers who were still shouting for the mug, and I got the smallest mug imaginable.
Did you get a little special effect one?
I got a little special effect mug.
It's really cute.
I wasn't sure that I wouldn't boast about the size or lack of your mug, Colin.
It's not the size; it's what you do with it.
Little mug. It was so cute.
Was it for your doll's house, Colin?
Oh dear. Well, let's see. No, I would just like to actually point out that to say hello to, of course, we met Stuart GT. There were the guys there from HCS Voice Packs. They were all there. That was obviously, it's quite nice to see. Commander Scorbius was about. Although I never saw him. Did you catch up with Commander Scorbius?
He was at my table, so yeah.
Ah, right. Fair enough.
him, Plato, and the Burrs were with me for most of the night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was the Burrs. It was really nice to meet them in person, of course, Commander Vintian and all the Hutton Truckers that said hi, and of course, good old Dobbo, who we never got a chance to.
Was Dobbo there?
Yeah, Dobbo was there, but we never got a chance to play the miniatures game so he could beat his duck. Because poor old Dobbo is every time he plays that game, he's always the first one to die. And it's hilarious. In fact, last time the other guy in his team felt that sorry for him, he passed his ship over to him, and next turn it blew up. So, yes, good times. Shan, you've got a couple of people.
Yeah, there's a few people I always wanted to meet. I went to because I stayed at the same hotel as one of the official forum mods who'd spent.
Osric, was it?
No, it wasn't Osric. No,
because I met Osric as well, which I thought was
yeah, but no, they'd basically been travelling since 7 a.m. from Scotland. It had taken that long, but so it was great to meet them and have a chat with him after the event. But also, Slopey was there, of the now famous Slopey's tool, and I'd always wanted to meet him and thank him, because when he was developing it, it was it was like a online EDDB, wasn't it? If you remember Slopey's tool.
Yeah. Oh, being raided by Jack Little,
that
real boy.
And I'd always wanted to meet him and shake his hand and thank him for the work. So that was really cool. So they were some of my highlights. I met people I always wanted to meet since I've been playing the game, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, Psychic.
It wasn't just a case of like who was my highlights of meeting and stuff. I felt kind of bad because it wasn't super accessible as far as like getting up to it. By the time I got up the stairs to get to it, I was pretty much done for walking around. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I felt kind of guilty because I would have loved to have come and like gone and like meandered and said hello to a few more people, but it was super difficult for me because like my mobility isn't there. So I'm hoping come LaveCon I'm a little bit more mobile or something. Hoping. I mean, it might not be the case, and at the end of the day, like if anybody was there, like anyone in that LaveCon who wants to say hello, come and say hello. I might not look approachable because I'm sat down looking miserable, but that's normally because I'm in pain.
Yeah, I mean, we did have quite a lot of people come up to you, though.
And I just feel really, I feel a little bit. There's a little bit of like FOMO with it that I'm a little bit pissed off that there were people, that there were people there that I would have loved to have met. I'd love to have like sat down and had a longer, but a little like a 5-minute conversation with, and who I couldn't because it would have involved like me like having to sort of like get up and walk over to them and all of that sort of stuff. It was just tricky. I wish it had been maybe a little bit more of an accessible venue.
Yeah, I do apologise for laughing halfway through that. That's not what you were saying.
It's what Katie said. I know it's what Katie said.
It's exactly what Katie and Lennon said. So we're going to set up a LaveCon Meet Psychic booth with autographs and pictures.
I will bring stickers.
What, are you going to stick one on your face for everyone who comes and meets you?
Fuck no. No, because they all fell off on Sunday.
Oh, back to Shan.
Well, so I actually met Psychic the first time, which I enjoyed actually. So it was good to finally meet you rather than seeing a face on screen or a voice on this show. So thank you for saying hello to me.
You're welcome.
And no, dear listeners, there wasn't a punch up. It was.
I did hear that Little Willie was there. And
he was. That was my next name. Yes, Little Willie was there. Who I must apologise. I've actually completely forgotten how he came to be until it was mentioned, and I remember the £950 cost, wasn't it? It was like, who wants a Little Willie? And I think that was the winning bid, wasn't it? Because it was on the Frontier live stream. So yes,
it was the Christmas live stream. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about. I did wonder why someone was walking around with a Muppet.
That's a nice thing to say about Bruce.
Oh dear, yeah. Well, everyone should be reassured that, of course, there was a representation a representative from Canon who was walking around in a lab coat, so nothing's changed there.
Well, the thing is, though, with the Canon T-shirt is only the Canon people will understand it,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone else would have to ask them, "What does your T-shirt say?" Because we can't work it out.
And you couldn't miss me because I was there with the big Lave Radio orange T-shirt from the expo, and I just realised that T-shirt must be at least 5 years old now.
Oh,
Did you get it? Did you get it especially for Expo, or did you?
It was.
Have it
I think
before?
if Fozza actually had them all printed, and we all turned up with the orange T-shirts with our
But
names
you've got
on the
one as
back.
well, haven't you, Ben?
I do, yeah. And as Colin says, they were made especially for the expo, yeah.
Yeah, so just so that if I fall on my face in the dirt, people know who's collapsed.
Yeah, there is a benefit, and I saw a bunch of people also making use of, I wore this T-shirt because it's got my name on it. Because, random fat bloke, number 73, doesn't really help you very much when you're trying to identify them by the commander name.
See, I wasn't sure when I joined the crew and stuff whether I wanted a Lave Radio T-shirt, because I think it would be equivalent of putting a big target on my back.
Well, Commander Lennon in the chat has now said, as a LaveCon veteran, I can say that the novelty of meeting the cast wears off after the second person.
Oh, I remember the first LaveCon I ever went to, which was 2015, which I think was the first one I went to, the one after release. And I tell you, I saw the Lave Radio logo up there and the music, and I was just in awe. It would be like, it was amazing. That first LaveCon meeting the rest of the crew, and I think I was at the time actually. In the evening, I still feel as though I don't belong here in a way. I know people say, "Oh, you don't, Jan," but it's just such an amazing show, an amazing thing to be part of.
Yeah.
And that includes the elite community as well.
Why are you talking about this in the past tense?
Yeah, this sounds like something like a eulogy.
Well, it might be. Who knows? There's going to be a show next week.
We are gathered here today, right? Well, has anybody got any final points they want to say? Because I think it's time to move on. No,
I just want to say thanks to Frontier for putting the event on and make us all feel like normal geeks again, rather than isolated geeks.
It was fucking nuts. I loved it.
Honestly, I thought at some point a vein in Al's head was going to go. I really did.
Oh, I was waiting for it. I think.
Oh dear! I must admit, they're thinking it's not so easy to run a raffle as you think, is it?
Well, I think it was sabotaged. Personally, I think he was sabotaged
by Bruce.
I don't know, but it can't be. Yeah, how hard is it?
Yeah.
You put the same number of raffle tickets as you sold into the pot, ensuring they're the same numbers both while, and then you just get someone to spill it around a bit and pull them out. You don't put the whole packet of raffle tickets in, regardless of how many you'd sold.
Yeah. Right. Well, if that's the case, then we will move on to the community corner. Now, obviously, we've touched on what Operation IDA are up to. However, we have just been informed, breaking news, the next Buckyball has been announced. It's on Saturday, the 19th of March, to Sunday, the 27th of March. And it's that new. I'm going to have to click on this link. Hopefully this will work.
It's all right. I can give you some information if you'd like.
Good, because this iPad's not responding to my...
It's all good. It's all good. It is the Aquarian job, which is a nut-sewed race. It is. I think it's the only one that requires an SLV, so it is to be done solely in Horizons because the terrain has changed.
Right.
But it looks like a lot of fun. There is a link. There will be a link in the show notes as well to it. But brother Sabathius just uploaded it or like posted it 25 minutes ago. So hot off the press.
Hey, this is what you want. This is why you pay your license.
Look at us on top of news.
We does good news.
Yeah, so it was always good to hear about the buckyball stuff. Oh, and one thing that did surprise me actually, while I'm here, I better look this up quickly so I make sure I got this right, because I got stopped by a Polish fella while walking about, and he is he does the TWH24 podcast in Polish for games like Elite Dangerous and other space sims. So if you are one of our huge amount of Polish listeners, I think there's about 3.
Now there is a large Polish community. Because you've got the Winged Hussars, they're all Polish, aren't they?
The Winged Hussars are, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so if you want to pop over to TWH24 podcast, that should be. I hope I haven't been punked and it's gone to some kind of really dodgy podcast. But
do we know if it's in English or is it in Polish?
No, it's in Polish. It's in Polish. So yeah, and if I've actually sent you to something a bit dodgy, I do apologise in advance.
Yes, if Colin sent you somewhere dodgy, it's because he got hold of Ben's web history.
Oh no! Call private browsing. We need private browsing. Dear. So yes, so I've got to say hello because he was a very nice chap, and yes. So I think that's about it. That's about it for Community Corner. Mostly Clueless. We have Domzilla 2112 again. His hint for this week is when finishing a jump, if you decelerate while it's finishing, it'll bring you to a dead stop, saving you having to dodge a star's exclusion zone in a big slow ship. Always useful. Now,
keep you awake, Colin.
I don't know. I think
it's a conversation about Raspberry Pis catching up with you from before.
Actually, you're not wrong. Someone just has to mention the word Linux to me and I start snoring. It's great. It cures my insomnia, left, right, and centre. Any other business? Well, this is actually quite a important one. LaveCon is 100% happening this year. However, it will not be in the Sedgebrook Hall Hotel this year because of a scheduling conflict because of the Grand Prix.
Those Grand Prix, eh?
Thanks, Commander Ventura. He's trying to put me to sleep. We do not have a confirmed date yet because the contracts haven't been signed.
Or venue.
Yeah. So, but I do believe we are hoping to have Karen on next week. So that we'll be able to give more details. I'm hoping that it's not going to be the dates where they suggested, because otherwise I can't go.
Well, it's your daughter's birthday, isn't it?
It might be. It all depends on when the actual LaveCon dates are.
Well, if it is that date, then you could take her to LaveCon because
as a birthday present.
And it'll have free booze.
Yeah, I can just see
so
it now.
Yeah.
Hashtag worst dad ever. Yeah. Okay, obviously there probably are worse dads than that, but it's still.
She might think. I'm sure all the single men at LaveCon.
Oh, please, Shan! Stop trying
Jesus
to do that.
Christ, Shan! Not a chance. Not on this show.
I just. What the hell do I say to that? Right. Yeah.
You say no. That's what you say.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. Just because this is the way it works. Is that when Shan said that, I thought, yeah, let's see them having to get through a father who knows who's who's almost a black belt in karate, and so she, by the way, and and then that made me think of Commander Plater, because Commander Plater was there at the meeting as well. It was so nice.
Oh, that's lovely.
It was so nice to see him, even though honestly his hair is gone sort of white.
Yeah.
He looks dignified.
So, Colin, when you said a black belt, you're a black belt, and she's a black belt. I kind of had pictures of the wedding scene in Kill Bill or something like that.
No, I think it would probably be more like the Baptist church in Kingsman, if that kind of thing happened. So, have we got any questions or any other business that anybody wants to raise?
Where do babies come from?
Well, when a man and a woman love each other very much, Ben, I will send you some pornography to show you how that actually all works.
He's probably got it.
Probably.
My question for the week is: do we think we will get any more development information?
What, between now and the update? I reckon this
and
time next
next
week
Tuesday.
we'll probably have some patch notes.
Yeah, we'll have.
I'm gonna put it out there that I think we might have patch notes. It's a scary prediction, but I think it's a possibility. I'm pretty solid on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I do find it quite sad that all the CMs just have to put is one line on the forums, and then basically you have a huge flood of comments.
Yeah.
I mean, that one thing from Arth is from 3 weeks ago now. Is still ongoing, and
what's the saying? The devil finds work for idle hands.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm sort of backing away from the forums at the moment because it's a dark place.
It's a silly place.
It's not to go to the forums. It's a silly place. Yes. So, I think it's time for some shout-outs then. Obviously, our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. No doubt they'll have their own special detailed report about what they got up to at Hutton Orbital at the Elite Meet. That's if they can remember, because they did plow through to 3 in the morning.
I was actually talking to Ventian, and he was still feeling rough on Monday.
Yeah, we showed our age by leaving for a nice quiet hotel bar after 10 o'clock because the music was too loud.
Wow. Well, the one problem I had was actually not at the hotel, because the hotel was actually really comfortable and nice. It was the journey down that was a problem, and I was worried that I'd get the same on the way back, because they'd ended up cancelling the previous train, so the first train was absolutely packed, and I was sat on my reserved seat, and there was a gentleman stood next to me, and I was about arse height, and unfortunately, I think the guy had severe IBS. Because basically, I could feel the wind blow, if you know what I mean.
What a beautiful image to leave on that.
Yeah,
like,
that's a really nice
the
thing
Elite
to
Meet.
finish,
That's such a beautiful, perfect image. I think that sums up Lave Radio wonderfully.
Yeah, it's just sort of talking about blow dried hair that I didn't want, that smelt awful. It's a good job. That's why I was late turning up, because I had to have a shower first. Anyway, for the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We'll also give some shout outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts. That's Alagrab AM, Canon Podcast. Do the Black Sky Legion do any
yes, they do. They do Elite, and on Fridays they're doing all sci-fi and things like that. So Elite, No Man's Sky, Star Citizen, Probably
Okay.
the Bethesda game when it comes out.
Yeah. So, yeah, Black Sky Legion then. The Spanish speakers had the Elite Cast, the Fatherhood podcast, Flight Assist. New episode this week?
Yeah, Commander Elm was our guest this week.
Excellent. Go download and listen to Mal and have some even more Psykit.
Hi, that's me. That's me. You're welcome, by the way.
The Guard Frequency, who do other space sims as well. There's the Loose Screws, Squeaking Fuel, and System Chat. And for those who like a literary discussion about sci-fi and fantasy books, there is the Data Slave podcast by Alan Stroud, but that hasn't been updated for a while. So, yep. Now, following on from this, we do have the latest Galnet News Digest as provided by Commander Wotherspoon and Commander Beetlejude, who we all met there as well. And it was so nice to meet them. Because, yeah, let's be honest, Commander Beetlejude's paintings are awesome, and Commander Wotherspoon is just the Wotherspoon.
Jude's pretty awesome as well. She's not just the sum of paintings.
Jude is lovely.
She is bonkers, and I love her.
Yeah.
Now, have we actually missed anybody out? Because I'm really scared that we'll get a message.
I'm sure.
You did.
If we haven't forgotten anyone, then it's Colin's fault, so mail him.
Well, I mean, I did spend the most time with Commander Katie Chaos, Commander Jeannie Van Zyl, and Commander Little Biggin, who I'm really rather fond of.
Yes, and first time I met the person who introduced us all to Bloomin' Jobby.
We need a Jobby song. We so need a Jobby song.
I gave you a
no, we
Jobby song
don't.
the other day, Shan.
We do not want.
I bet you did.
No, we want a Jobby song
No,
that we
don't.
can actually play on the show.
No, we don't. We are not. We are not having one of those things.
Alexa, play the Jobby song.
The Jobby song needs to go along with the development news section.
Oh
Sure.
God. Well, special thanks, of course, to Commander Tokuso, Jay Trax, and Alan Stroud, who create music for the show. Maybe I should
Not the Jobby
apologise to
song.
them. They will not do the no. Oh
Have you
God!
asked them?
If
Have you
I
asked them? If they'll
if
do
I
the
get a
Jobby
message,
song?
Actively messaging Tokuso right now.
was Tokuso there as well?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, thank goodness for that, because I thought he was, and I thought, how did I miss him? Because he didn't.
We're quite safe because Frontier haven't even listened to our Store Alert songs, so they're not going to listen to a Jobby song. So, go ahead and do it.
Commander Lenin suggested Ed Sheeran, Shape of Poo.
And my daughter can recommend the Mummy Poo song and the Daddy Poo song as well.
Yeah, but it's the whole referencing Jobby to Poo. How did that go? Hang on. You can't just say that then and not qualify. Even give us a line or two from the song.
Right. No, I think we'll
Just
stop
ask
it now.
Alexa for it to look on Spotify or something like that. You'll find it.
Yes, let's move on. Well, because that's it. That is it. Please, God.
It's such a boring dad, Colin. Honestly, I want to know what the Daddy Poo song is.
That's
And the-
it.
And the
That's
Granny
it.
Poo
Listen,
song.
shush, or you're muted. That's it for another episode of Lave Radio. Thank God. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can email info@laveradio.com, hit us up at facebook.com/laveradio, and tweet us at Lave Radio. You can join our Discord server by going to discord.io/laveradio. We also have a TeamSpeak server where commanders come to hang out and chat, which you can find at teamspeak.laveradio.com. Do get in touch if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode that doesn't involve jobbies or Linux. Yeah, Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed at laveradio.com /live. So thanks to Ben, thanks to Psykit, thanks to Dr. Toxic, and of course thanks to Shan. And special thanks, of course, goes to today's tech specialist, Santiago, Putnik Santiago. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Got it wrong again.
You're just sorry. Just leave it at that, Colin.
Yeah. Oh, I am so sorry. oh, Sham, that's not fair. Adders use Linux as an OS. Adders use. Is that what you type out in the hotel you have to look at after?
Like some people's equivalent of counting sheep.
No. All work and no play makes Shan a dull boy. Is that what he's typing there? Yeah. So before the doors open and a whole load of blood comes out of the elevator doors. Until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Please.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted into them. You need a safe word.
Space can be lonely.
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 1st of March 3308. We read the news, so you don't have to. In this week's news, we look at the prospect for private quarters in fleet carriers and report on Prime Minister Mann, who has been censured by the Alliance Assembly. But first, we return to the right of the remaining Thargoids and wonder just how relevant salvation is in the modern galaxy.
Anti-Xeno fighters are on the verge of eliminating the last remaining Thargoid incursions. The only question remaining is whether they can complete the job before Thursday. We reported last week that the 3 systems in the bubble that suffered Thargoid incursions were completely cleared in less than 2 weeks. The counter-momentum triggered by that unexpected foray of aliens into the human heartlands has continued, with Thargoids in the remaining systems in the Coalsack and Witchhead nebulas getting rather more attention than they'd bargained for. All systems in the Coalsack Nebula and the surrounding Muscadart region have been cleared of Thargoids, and in the Witchhead Nebula only a tiny rearguard of Thargoids are still clinging on in the Lembas and Wellington systems. It seems likely that the Anti-Xeno Initiative and other organisations that are less than friendly with the 8 tentacled monsters of the Coal 70 sector may manage to kick them out of those 2 systems before the end of the week, leaving human-inhabited space entirely untroubled by the arachno starfish from space.
There has been no further word from mad scientist Salvation, whose potty plans include some sort of death ray to wipe out the Thargoids completely. Some commanders have expressed their concern over just how ethical such a plan to commit genocide might be. We don't like the Thargoids, but do we really want them gone forever? And does Salvation have an ulterior motive? Like, Azimuth Project Seraph 4 years ago, could Salvation really be plotting to use Thargoid technology to take control of the bubble? With the Thargoid threat apparently receding, perhaps siding with Salvation is a risk no longer worth taking.
The Alliance Prime Minister has accepted a motion of censure, and his secret defence deal with Sirius Corps is to be subject to legislative scrutiny, or else the deal will be off. The move came following the defeat of the Sirius megaship Chariot of Rhea by a popular uprising of Alliance citizens. Prime Minister Mahan's nemesis, Councillor Nakato Kane, put the motion of censure to the Alliance Assembly. The vote was by no means unanimous, but it was notable that there were more abstentions than votes to defend Mahan. The Assembly has now called for the details of the pact to be laid out in a bill for scrutiny by legislators. If Mahan and Sirius agree to this arrangement, then it might yet become law. However, if they want to keep the details secret, then the legislation will not be put forward, and Sirius will be asked to withdraw its 4, allegedly, anti-Xeno megaships from the Alioth, Arimpox, Digian and Listes systems. It is not clear at this stage whether Sirius will be willing to have the deal subject to public scrutiny.
Brewer Corporation has not only been busy kitting out the Colonia Bridge this week, it's also been busy sorting out the final hurdles prior to allowing commanders on-foot access to fleet carriers. This week's goal in the Colonia Bridge is to kit out the 6 starports with Pioneer supplies, a crew lounge and search and rescue services. Unlike last week, the Colonia end of the appeal appears to be doing well, with a good prospect of a successful conclusion. The starport closest to Colonia, Promium Relay, in Eoch Flyoi QK-E D12-2118, missed out last week on getting Universal Cartographics and Vista Genomics installed due to a scarcity of commodities in the Colonia region.
Of far more importance to many commanders, though, is the prospect of finally being able to walk around fleet carriers. For far too long, Brewer's flagship product has been operated like a roll-on, roll-off ferry, with pilots forced to wait in the hold with their ships, while the fleet carrier hops excitedly round the galaxy, making loud whomping noises and emitting lightning and black smoke. Now, in just one more week, the yellow and black "Do Not Cross" tape will be removed from the hangar lifts, and commanders will be able to mingle in the social area, to visit the available surfaces in person, and to visit the jump room, with its panoramic view of the fleet carrier opening its vast rent in the space-time continuum to allow it to, metaphorically, disappear through one exit, or run round behind the scenery, and pop up again magically in another place altogether, to the delight of the watching audience. Engineers working on the project have expressed their delight for how well the whole process is going as it nears the grand opening ceremony.
Not only will it be public spaces, of course, but the fleet carrier owner, captain and commodore of the fleet will have their own private quarters in which they can plan their route, swig Lavian brandy, or, if they're more refined, sip Centauri Megagin, and sing sea shanties and feed the parrots free from the annoying crowd of hangers-on and freeloaders in the public spaces. Whether they'll be allowed to design their own decor, put up posters of their favourite bands, and have 3-year-long baths with their very own rubber duck and a gin and tonic remains unclear at this time.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.